The Windy City Hoops podcast is sponsored by our friends at Anchor.fm. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to launch the Windy City Hoops pod, I had some questions. How do I get the show on the best platforms? How do I build listenership? And how do I monetize? The answer to all those questions is simple. Anchor.fm. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. Anchor can even match you up with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to pod right away. So if you always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and a diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start to launch your podcast today. Windy City Nation, welcome back into the Windy City Hoops podcast. I'm your host, Joe Kesnick. Hard to believe, with just a couple weeks left in the G League regular season, Windy City Bulls are still holding on to a slim half-game lead in the Central Division over the Grand Rapids Drive. But with a 3-1 record over the last four, Bulls are looking to be in a solid position to make the playoffs out of the East. Last week, Bulls tallied wins over the first-place Santa Cruz Warriors at home, as well as a win on the road over the Greensboro Swarm. In the win over the Warriors, team holding the best record in the G League at 30-14, the Bulls really dominated that contest from start to finish, ultimately winning out by a 15-point margin over a talented Santa Cruz squad, 120-105. Michael Mulder, coming off a stint with the Canadian national team for a FIBA World Cup qualifier, showed he hadn't missed a beat, pouring in 29 points on 10 of 14 shooting, including 6 of 9 from 3. Been a dream of Michael's his whole life to represent his country, so big congratulations out to him for getting that opportunity. Walt Lemon Jr. also had a strong performance against Santa Cruz, putting up 21 points and 14 assists on the day. I'm sure Walt's excited as well about his alma mater, the Bradley Braves, winning the Missouri Valley Conference Championship and punching their ticket to the dance with wins over Loyola Chicago and Northern Iowa. That decisive win over the Warriors really proves that the Bulls can compete with anyone in a G League with plenty of parity. Should the Bulls make the playoffs, they have as good a chance as anyone to walk away with the crown. And keep checking in with the Windy City Hoops podcast. We may have some special things coming up should the Bulls lock down their first playoff spot in team history. But first up on the pod today, we saved one of our best interviews for one of our last of the season. This player was a solid 4-year contributor for one of the top college programs in the country, the Syracuse Orange. He's now a do-it-all player for the Windy City Bulls, consistently making winning plays since joining the team in the middle of last year. Averaging 13 points and 7 boards this season, we were happy to sit down with 6'8" forward CJ Fair. We're joined by Windy City Bulls forward CJ Fair. CJ, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Right, so for your college career, you had 4 years at Syracuse, and you improved your game every year while you were there. How has that commitment and drive really helped you in your pro career as well as far as development goes?
It helped me a lot, just knowing, how to work on my game and to get better each year, because freshman, you're not expected so much and you new to everything, but as the years go on, you learn how to, get better, progress, and the coaching staff do a good job of helping you that way. And then when you get to a professional level, it's not so much of that much catering to you. It's more so you getting to work on your own, but once you build that foundation, you can just keep the same routine.
It's interesting, you started off your pro career in Fort Wayne, and then you decided to step away and go to France. How was that experience over in France? How did it help you? What kind of led to your decision there, and how do you compare that player experience over in Europe as compared to the G League?
France was good. It was tough, though, because it was really like my first time being homesick, and I went over there by myself, and it was a new experience, just to be in a new country, new language, new culture, and so it was different from everything I was used to, and so that was the tough part to get over in the beginning, and then once I got a little more acclimated, things got better for me. Basketball started picking up for me, and just learning the style of play over there is a lot different from the G League here in the NBA. So just adapting to their style of play was kind of a challenge at first, but once I got the hang of it, I was good.
I know Walt Lemon played overseas as well. Do you guys compare stories as far as the different leagues over there and how Euro basketball is for American players?
Yeah. We definitely we kept up with each other and, just share our both experiences. And, it's kind of similar. It's a lot different as far as practicing. You practice 2 times a day and you might play once a week, maybe twice. And so that's a big difference. And, it's if you're not used to it, it could be hard to adjust. So it was definitely a hard adjustment for us at first. But, like I said, the longer you be there, the better you could be comfortable.
Were you excited to come back to the U.S. to play? I mean, were you kind of adapted to it where you were kind of enjoying it toward the end of the season? Basically, would you advise guys that are deciding if they want to go to the G League or Europe, which would you kind of gear people towards?
Yeah, that's a good question. But for me, I was excited to get home just because it's a long season. I was over there for 10 months, so I was just ready to get home, see my family. I'm married, so I got a wife. I wasn't married at the time,
okay.
but just to see my loved ones. So that was the tough part, being away from them that far. And so when the season was over, I was excited to get back and get see familiar restaurants and stuff like that. But for players that's on the borderline overseas and G League, it's a tough line. It's a tough decision. I think each player varies. Just for me, I wasn't in a situation where I had to make a certain amount of money, so it's I can be flexible with my decision and stuff. I know some people got kids and things like that, whereas they have to provide for their family. But for me, I didn't really have that on my mind for a decision, so I wanted to come back to the G League and better my chances for the NBA. But it's all up to the player what they think is most important in their life right now. I'm not saying people go overseas just for the money, but it's just everyone can't play in the G League. It ain't that many teams. There's a lot of teams overseas and stuff.
That's true.
So it's just best for your. Go wherever is best for your basketball. That's the thing. It's different from everybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's something people don't think about. You got to kind of weigh those options out. You're not going to have that real network of support from friends and family if you're overseas. It's maybe a little bit tougher for scouts to see your game overseas as well. So definitely some factors to weigh in as far as the money versus the exposure. So you come back with Fort Wayne. And you guys had a great run, made it to the finals against Santa Cruz. You had a great stat line yourself, 22 points, 8 boards, a couple steals a game. So what have you talked about with your current teammates about the playoffs in the G League as you guys are trying to make that first run for the Windy City Bulls?
It's kind of a similar situation. When I was with Fort Wayne, we was on the bubble of making the playoffs, and we had to win our last 5 games. Mm-hmm. And we ended up doing that, and we got the last seed in the playoffs. And so I was just saying, seeding don't matter. It's just just getting in there, and it's free game after that, because we was the last seed, and we swept everybody going through the finals, from the number 1 seed to the number 2 seed, it's a lot of fun just making it that far. And we had a chance to actually win it all, but I think we kind of ran out of gas, because at that time it was best out of 3, and we lost our first game by a couple points, but I remember being up 20 that game. And they came back and beat us, and then that was a big punch to the gut, and we couldn't recover and ended up losing the second game. Yeah. But it was definitely a great experience. You always want to come out on top, but it was good getting that experience, making it playoffs and going that far though.
Yeah, definitely a lot of parity in the G League. So if you get in, the seeding kind of gets thrown out once you're in there. But I want to ask you about that. How do you rank it as far as Everybody's trying to make it that steady job in the NBA. How do you rank it as far as what they're looking at, being able to show that you're making those winning plays in a regular season game and in a postseason game, the importance of that to G League players, be able to get kind of those extra games to be evaluated, playing against the best in the G League and really showing your game through that playoff run too.
Definitely, it's important for players in the G League to just come out playing hard and not always trying to get seen by, scoring the basketball, because right now it's like the transition is from where, like, you don't have to score 30 points a game to get an NBA look and stuff. So just doing them other little things, but still, you shouldn't be doing it for the NBA. You should be doing it for your team and yourself and stuff like that. And the better you and your team do, the better everybody gets a look at it.
And so how do you compare the depth of this team to that Fort Wayne team as far as being able to make a run to the championship for the Windy City Bulls?
We definitely got a lot of good pieces here. I think we're one of the best teams in the league right now. We've been playing the best second half basketball, and we got a lot of guys from the starting five to the next five on the bench.
So your Syracuse Orange had a crazy up and down year. You see them making a run towards the end here and maybe making some noise in March?
That's the thing about Syracuse is it don't matter how good or bad their season is, their regular season is. It just, as long as they make it to the tournament, it's going to be, like I said, fair game, and a lot of teams not used to the zone, so that kind of works in our advantage. Yeah, I tell people don't be surprised that they make it to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and stuff like that.
Yeah, Coach Bayon, once he's in the tournament, he can make a run for sure. Great, thanks, CJ. Appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.
Big thanks to CJ Fair. As we were talking about, CJ made the G League postseason a couple years back with the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. Here's to hoping his second go-around will be his first title and the first title for the Bulls. Next up on the pod, we were able to chat with Windy City Bulls season ticket holder Trish Shrode. Had a great chat with Trish. Her and her family have had season tickets for the past couple of years. It was great to connect and get a feel for their experience, sitting courtside and rooting on the Bulls. We're joined by loyal Windy City Bulls fan Trish Shrode. Trish, thanks for joining us today. How was your experience with the game?
An amazing game. They led most of the game, got close a couple times, got nervous, but they really came out today.
Yeah, they got a victory over the Santa Cruz Warriors, making a good run towards the playoffs. So an exciting season, a great day, a great crowd on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we love the Sunday afternoon games. When you have young kids, being able to go out, experience a game, and then still get home,
right,
and not be feeling it on Monday morning is really nice.
Yes, you have the whole family come out for most games.
Yes, we do. We started coming to the Bulls game about 3 years ago, 2 years now as season ticket holders, and all of my kids have come. A couple of them are older, but my 19-year-old actually said to us last year, while we were sitting at a game together as a family, this is the best thing we'd ever done together as a family. We've gone on pretty amazing vacations, California, Disneyland, Legoland. And for my 19-year-old to turn to me and say, this is a so much better investment for us as a family, because vacations last for a week or two, and this is a whole season of togetherness.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Where do you guys sit in the arena?
So we sit right courtside.
Okay.
Last year we were at a table, and our youngest, this is his favorite part of the time together, he really wanted to sit courtside, and so this year we were sitting, almost center courtside.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts about the Sears Center Arena. No bad seat, but especially being courtside, even better, getting that real feel of the game.
Getting that interaction with the players. Yeah. They get to know you and your family. You get invited out to some amazing events, meet the team. You get to take photos and get autographs afterwards. And so your family gets to know them, and they get to know you. Walt Lemon Jr. is a fellow Bradley alum. We're from Peoria originally, so he'll come over and chit-chat with us. Even though he's the age of my oldest daughter, there's still that camaraderie as a Bradley Brave.
Right.
and just being able to experience such wonderful sportsmen. Every guy on that team just loves the game and is so kind, is so considerate. It gets frustrating out there, but they conduct themselves as true professionals on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. A great collection of players this year, a lot of depth and talent and character. Yeah.
They play as a team like I've not seen in the last 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. A great collection of talent making the run towards the playoffs, the first playoff experience possibly for the Windy City Bulls this year. So you're a Chicago Bulls fan then, I take it?
We are a Chicago Bulls fan. My husband and I are actually from the south side of Peoria, so we grew up in the dynasty of Peoria Emanuel.
Right.
And so we are a sports family and really enjoy coming out to the games.
Well, amongst the family, as far as basketball, is it strictly all Chicago or any of the teams you root for?
We lived in the city for quite a while, so we're a Chicago family.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we were involved in the Lakers-Celtics rivalry. Right. We really loved that. Right. And one of our former Peoria Emanuel Rams is with New Orleans. So David Booth, who went to high school with us. Yeah. We got to see him out here scouting this season and got to connect with him again.
What's your favorite parts of coming out to Windy City Bulls games?
So my youngest, who is 11, really feels like he's a part of the team. He gets to go out. He helps out with the scream team sometimes. He convinced his school principal to let his school raise funds through a ticket fundraiser, got his entire school excited. He just recently baked for the whole team. He really feels like they make him feel a part of the family, and he wanted to thank them for that.
Definitely a family affair, sounds like, at the Windy City Bulls experience. Trish, thanks a lot for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was good to meet you.
So great to be joined by Trish Shrode, Windy City Bulls season ticket holder. Really a pleasure to sit down with her. Just awesome to hear how much her family has enjoyed their time coming out to Bulls games at the Sears Center Arena. I can absolutely vouch for what she's talking about there. The Bulls really embrace the fans that come out to see them play night after night, and they engage with them on that personal level all the time. If you think about these guys who are working hard to build their careers, to make it in the NBA, it can be a grind at times, so you always see that they genuinely appreciate the support coming out from fans when they get out to the arena. So like I said, just a few more opportunities to check out the Bulls at the Sears Center before the end of the regular season. Bulls will take on the Maine Red Claws at 7 p.m. on March 13th, and they'll host the Delaware Blue Coats on Friday, March 15th at 7 p.m., and it all wraps up Saturday night, March 23rd, as the Bulls welcome in the Canton Charge for the final game of the regular season. Organization always lines up some awesome promotions for the final game, so let's pack the arena. Hopefully send the Bulls off to the G League playoffs on a high note with a win over Canton. To grab your tickets today, go to windycitybulls.com/tickets or call the Sears Center Arena box office at 1-888-732-7784. That's 888-732-7784. That'll about do it for today on the Windy City Hoops podcast. Thanks so much again to my guest, CJ Fair, and Bulls season ticket holder Trish Shrode. I'm your host, Joe Kesnick. Thanks for downloading and listening. Be sure to rate and review. And until next time, go Bulls.